Hello YouTube, Calcifer050 here on behalf of the Chichester Gaming Society, bringing to you our first feature match. Today we have a shaddoll mirror match in the top 4 of one of our Friday locals, and here we have myself, Luke White, versus Declan Decke. And as I say, it's a shaddoll mirror match, but it's slightly different because I'm playing the shaddoll artifact variant, and Declan is playing the variant with the Chaos Dragons, the Collapse Serpent, and the Wyvern Buster. We see him open up with a Foolish Burial into Lizard and Falcon, setting the Falcon obviously. Lizard being Squamata. Anyone who's tested this deck as much as I have before it came out will know the cards by their proper names, not Construct and Winder and all that rubbish. Yeah, great one, Konami. In case you couldn't see, he banishes the Squamata there, the Lizard, with the effect of Allure of Darkness. Now, I will say something now. You will see a good couple of misplays throughout this first game. However, games 2 and 3 are definitely worth watching. More so 2 than 3, but I just want to clear the water first. Here he goes for the Sinister Shadow games during my end phase. Sending the Beast, flipping the Falcon, and activating that combo. This puts him in an immediately very good position. For now, his turn comes along, and he's got a free Graceful Charity of sorts. So already he's at an advantage on me. So flips the Beast. Draws his 2, and discards a Dragon. Dragon's effect will target that card. Now, this is where the artifact part of my deck comes into play. He hits a morale attack, which I know he doesn't really mind about, because sending the Dragon, it doesn't really affect him too much, because he will get the Falcon's effect off if I destroy it, and stupidly I do. Now, yes, that is the first misplay on camera, and I do admit it was a stupid misplay. My one reason there is that I lost concentration for a second and forgot that Beast had Falcon had activated its effect during my end phase, and now it was a completely different turn, and I can't make an excuse for that one. He resets the Falcon with its effect and leaves me at even more of a disadvantage, really. Summons the Wyvern Buster and proceeds to attack into me. To which point I'm thinking, right, I'm at a disadvantage here, but I need to keep something on the field. So at this point I decide to play my own shadow games. Sending my own Lizard and flipping my Dragon. My Dragon will bounce his Beast back to hand. Now, while this does seem like a bit of a silly play, there was a slight method to my madness. I wanted to take away the biggest threat on his field, making sure that my morale attack would stay on the field. Which is why the Lizard sends the Hedgehog, and the Hedgehog will add me the Falcon. That way, next turn, I've got access to a level 7 Synchro monster. The 2 that I run are Black Rose Dragon and Arcanite Magician. Now, knowing that one of those 2 can pull me out of this spot, well, hoping that one of those 2 can pull me out of this spot, I decided to try and go for it. At this point, he continues the attack, sets another 2 cards, and passes turn. Now, in my hand, you may be able to see a spell card that you might not recognise. It's called Flash Fusion, and I decided to use it as a little bit of a tech. Until El Shaddoll Fusion comes out in the next set, I kind of needed something to tide me over, a 4th fusion card, because just having the 3 and then the 3 hedgehogs to search them out, it wasn't enough. So I decided to use Flash Fusion because Thingy was super polymerization's too costly. The reason that I think it's too costly is the fact you have to discard a card just to activate it, and also the card you discard does not get its effect with the shaddoll monsters, or as far as they're concerned. It doesn't activate at the right time. It's one of the only chances that they miss timing per se. So at this point I've gone for the Black Rose Dragon, knowing that it would get a few effects of his off. However, I had to clear the board somehow. Believing that I had a backup plan, a small backup plan, but a backup plan nonetheless, I proceeded to just set 2 and end turn. Declan flips the Falcon and sets himself, I believe that was the Hedgehog. Swings for the 600. Now I take the damage, not wanting to bother anything. So he tributes it and sets the beast that I returned to his hand earlier. So I misplay again here, realising that it would be I wanted to activate Sanctum to get myself a Morale on the field. However, realising that there's nothing to destroy with Moraltac's effect, because I don't run Bialtac. I only run the 3 Sanctum and 3 Moraltac, which I'm even thinking about dropping those. So Declan tells me to just put the Sanctum back down, to which I continue with my turn and summon the Blackluster Soldier by banishing Squamata and the Moraltac that was in my grave from earlier. Now, there's no point I can't banish anything, and I know he's going to get the effects off of both of these monsters that I attack. However, I need to start making a push, and if that means giving him a bit more advantage first, then so be it. He destroys my Flash Fusion with the dragon he discarded off of the Beast effect, which doesn't bother me too much as I had no way to use it. He searches the fusion off of the Hedgehog, which I knew it was coming because I knew he set it last turn. So if I didn't attack it then he would have used the effect next turn anyway. Same with the Beast. It just would have meant that he'd have had 2 more monsters on the field to either fuse with or synchro with or do whatever the hell he likes with, really. So the idea to attack them now and make sure he had no field presence, well, less field presence, I thought was the better option. Declan goes for the shaddoll fusion straight away, sending the dead Felis in his hand and a collapse serpent. Nah. Then realising he can't do that. Yes, as I said, there was misplays on both parts, and it annoys me to have to commentate over them, because I just feel it makes me look stupid, even if it's, you know, even though 2 of the misplays have been mine and I should be stupid for them anyway. It's, you know, we're all human, and it is a local level event, so it's not regional level, it's not big things, so I shouldn't be too worried about it. Either way, the Sanctum comes out now, bringing out the Moraltac in response to the BLS summon. Now, Declan knew this was going to happen as he saw me try to activate it last time. However, it has forced me to use that Sanctum, so he now has no back row to be worrying about for any other play he wishes to make. He banishes a light monster from his grave to summon the Collapsed Serpent. Well, still considering the summon, but he's kind of already made the banish, so the summon's technically got to happen. Sets a further 2 back row and proceeds to end his turn. At this point, I draw the fusion, and I'm thinking, great, I can pull things back now. So I flip my Falcon, go for the Hedgehog, And I take a second to just decide what to do here, as admittedly I'm not in a great spot. Knowing that he has shaddoll fusion in hand, if I was to activate the one I drew this turn, I knew it would give him access to his main deck. However, as I said before, I did have to make a push of some sort at some point. So he does activate the bottomless trap hole on my construct as I summon it. However, it doesn't prevent its effect from happening. Any of its effect from happening. So I send a lizard to the graveyard, which then sends a dragon to destroy another of his back row. Unfortunately, I play straight into a Shadow Games, to which he sends a hedgehog and adds another shaddoll monster to his hand, giving him access to that fusion. So, regardless of the fact he got rid of my extra deck monster, he can still play that shaddoll fusion this turn, and really cause me some problems. Now, I still have a Black Luster Soldier on the field, so I decided to use it to banish the Collapsed Serpent, knowing that if I destroyed it by battle, he would simply get its effect back and have a Wyvern Buster and even more to play against me. He goes for the fusion now, sending the Dead Felis and the Falcon he added. Construct sends Beast, Falcon will special summon itself, and Beast will allow him to draw a card. It's amazing the amount of pluses that shaddolls can create. However, I still don't think the deck is ready until next set. I don't think it's at its fullest potential. I just think that when El Shaddoll Fusion comes out and the next two fusion monsters, you know, Core will become infinitely more useful. Other things will become infinitely more useful. And I think it'll actually benefit off the rivalry with the Quillpoff decks as well. It may sound very weird, but Shaddolls for me feel like a deck that needs something at its level, if not slightly higher, to push it, to push the players to play more, to play better, and really keep on going. It needs a decent matchup. That's what it is. It can tear through Satella Knights. Well, the only games I've played against Satella Knights, I've torn through them quite quickly. Against Burning Abyss, it has quite a bad matchup actually, surprisingly. So, yeah. Anyway, we're seeing the plays evolve. He discarded a Dark Arm Dragon off of Beast, and a few more plays come to pass. I apologise, my commentary isn't great, especially when I'm on my own, and especially when I haven't done any sort of videos on YouTube for a long time now. So getting back into the swing of things, this is more testing the water rather than a proper good stab at anything decent. At this point, he banishes a dark monster for the Wyvern Buster, attacks over the Hedgehog, which unfortunately was sat there in attack mode due to the breakthrough skill, which stopped me adding the shaddoll fusion. He attacks with the rest of the monsters and proceeds to pass his turn. Now, at this point, I'm running out of options quite quickly, so after setting one and ending turn, he goes for his own Arcanite Magician and proceeds to destroy my Sinister Shadow Games. Now, while this does get me one send, which obviously is a Falcon, it is not going to do much at all. I'm in a bleak spot here, hoping and praying to hold on for dear life, but knowing that the end of this game is inevitable. Now he attacks into my Falcon, to which I activate its effect. I decide to set the Shaddoll Hedgehog face down in hopes that I can add a fusion monster to my hand and carry on from there. Fusion card to my hand and carry on from there, sorry. However, he decides to stop the attack, use Arcanite Magician's effect to destroy the hedgehog, so instead I have to add a monster to my hand. I choose the beast so that I don't dead draw next turn. I could have chosen better things in all fairness, however, I think at this point it didn't really matter too much. He here uses the Dagasto Emerald to return a shaddoll dragon, I believe. The Wyvern Buster, or not. Still deciding what to return here. At this point, I know I'm relatively screwed. So he returns these 3 back to his deck. It was the Wyvern Buster in the end. Shuffles up, cut, draw card, the usual. Yes, the search from the Wyvern Buster. He detached as material because when it's sent to the graveyard, he can add a Collapsed Serpent to his hand. Now, I top into a compulsory evacuation device, which really isn't much. And I decide to go for a reaction to his second activation of Emerald's effect, forgetting that I would have had to activate it before he detached for the effect, because now that the cost has been paid, the effect carries out and the evac is useless, pretty much sealing me the game. So this time Declan adds back the Dark Arm Dragon and a couple others, to which he shuffles up. Hilariously, I cut the deck. He draws his 1 card for the effect, and lo and behold, it's the Dark Arm Dragon himself, sealing the game.